Okay, this should be us live. Should be here. We should be kicking. Should be ready to roll. 1 minute early. Well, 20 seconds early. Hope everyone's doing good. Just chill for a second while everyone loads in. The standard YouTube loading. I've got a couple of bits in the background. I'm just moving around. Hope you're doing good. Bits on the screen. Bear with me a second, guys. Hey, dude. How you doing? Good to have you here. I'm just going to chill for a minute. Just let a few people come in, then we'll get going, as we normally do at the beginning of these streams. Hope you're doing well. We are up and running, and we should be just about in a good space here, ready to get rocking. Give it a minute, and we'll get cracking. I know a few of the guys are coming on a little bit later. We'll be on for a couple of hours tonight. It'll be a good fun one. We've got a record that is air quotes finished, but not properly, if you get me. Like, it's what I would call a good rough draft. You can actually see by the file name at the top there. It's still in very much let's call a project as many random names as possible whilst I'm working on it, because it's got a slightly different hi-hat, so I'll put a random word at the end of it. Kind of phase of music production. I think we can all relate to that, yeah? Hey, Kenny. How you doing, man? Hey, Edgar. Good to see you. We're just sort of like slowly warming up into it, boys, and just sort of like, I'll just sort of hash it out a little bit for 5 minutes while peeps come in, and then we'll sort of like get rolling. But yeah, tonight is all about how I approach music production. This is going to be a really fun session. It's not just about the music production. It's not just about like, oh, here's a trick that does this and here's a trick that does that. This is a kind of run through of my approach to how I write records for record labels, like how I make music in the kind of like, oh, I actually do want to get this stuff signed. I do actually want to get this music out there and do something with it. There is space in my life, sometimes, not that often anymore, to be honest, where I can just make music and just do whatever. Sometimes I'll make music that's not even related to house music, not even dance music. There's nothing to it at all. There's nothing about it. It's sort of random music. I'll just sit on synths and just make stuff. And that's fun. I always need to get that out of my system. I have little pockets of time in my life where I just need to be, air quotes, creative, and that's full stop. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter who it's for. It's for me. It's for fun. It's for the art form. Other times, I'm a brand. I'm Rmbr. I make a living doing this as a job. So sometimes I stop and I go, right, let's go the other way. Let's, you know, got the creativity out of our system of just wildness. Let's now kind of try and find a way to funnel that. Excuse me, still got this cough. Try and funnel that into creativity that actually moves forwards. Isn't just for the art form itself. It is actually to do with building music for record labels, to actually do this as a living. Just, you know, you call it a living. It's just fun, isn't it, at the end of the day? But for me personally, I found that if I'm just straight up creative, it's just chaos. I think a lot of people relate to that. So yeah, tonight I want to kind of dip into my approach, not just like in Ableton music production stuff, but I want to show you guys like why this song sounds the way it does, why I think it doesn't quite, you know, what I think needs fixing on it, and why that, and I think that's a big part of it. Can you guys all hear me okay on the mic? Yeah, just double checking, mic check, mic check. Let me know if the chat's working. My end. I'm all good, Marcus, man. Good to see you. This also helps me work out how long the delay is between when I say stuff to when you guys see it. Doesn't look that long from what I'm seeing on there. You can hear me good. Thanks for letting me know, dude. Also, I'll tell you what, whilst we're in that space, I'm just going to hit play on the record in the background. Just let me know that it comes through on the stream. That way we've got it out of the way and we can get going without any kind of like annoying me changing 1,001 IOs and inputs to try and get things to work, yeah? You should hear that now. Are you hearing that music as well, yeah? Sounds good. Awesome. Wicked. I'll keep an eye on the settings on the mic as well, because I noticed the release on the gate was a little bit long then. It gates off the music coming through my speakers. If it becomes a bit like, if you notice, guys, whilst I'm working, you're like, I can hear like a doubling up or anything a bit like, what? That's a bit weird. Let me know in chat straight away, because I don't hear directly what you hear. It's one of those kind of things. I've got meters that show me visually that you guys are getting signal, but exactly what you're getting, I actually don't always know straight up what that is. So, yeah, if you get any kind of like weird stuff, yeah, there might be a bit of it going down. That can be just like YouTube. It's telling me here that the strength is excellent. I'm on 50, uploading, absolutely perfect. Yeah, it's saying here on my end that the stream's on excellent. So. But yeah, if you get any like weird echoing or anything like that, like let me know, because there might be some little tweaks I can do to kind of help that. All right, awesome. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's just get started. Let's actually get into this whole thing now and sort of talk about what we want to do tonight. So, what I really want to get into is, my second screen has just collapsed on me. Bear with me a sec, guys. I might use Bear with me. It was just, you might see like the screen go black and move around a second. It's just my second screen's just like decided to just completely turn off. Standard. Go live. Been working all day. It's probably, it shouldn't, because it's actually Wi-Fi directly to my PC outside of the internet that's running the stream. But yeah, the HDMI cable did not work. Apparently it doesn't on this. The only reason it matters to me is so I can see the chat. Okay, cool. Right, apologies for that. As always, we are live. Right, so tonight we are going to be working on one of my records. This record I've been working on for a few weeks now. It's been a big part of the recent lessons from my demo strategy course. Those of you that don't know, my demo strategy course is that's actually trying to give the mic, sorry. I've just got to double check everything just because it crashed. Yeah, cool. My demo strategy course that I run, it's a whole course I do. Most of you know that I do a lot of stuff with Toolroom. I have my own little separate thing. It just runs on the side. It's just something that I like doing. It's almost like a personal kind of hobby, passion project of mine. In that course, among many other things, I'm teaching everyone how to approach music production in a way that isn't just about, hey, here's how you make songs, here's how you EQ a kick drum. It's more about how you approach the art form as an artist. Sure, we have to get into the weeds, as we're going to tonight with music production. Sure, we're going to need to get into music production to write records, but there is so much more to writing records than what happens in Ableton or Logic or any of the other weird ones, a few weirdos out there. So what is it all about? How do you approach this? What does it all mean? Ben, I hate the industry. I hate having to make music for the crowd, the record labels. I just want to be me. I just want to write my own music. I hear you. I absolutely hear you. That's the sort of human being I am as well. And to the point where if I just go off and I am creative, and if I was just like, oh, I've just won £1 billion squillion pounds, I just don't care about any of it anymore, I'm just going to make music. I'll be making weird stuff. That's what I like to do. Go out field recorders, noodle on synths, noodle on pianos, try recording techniques. That's what I'm about. There's a whole style of music I make, so not under my name. I don't even release it. It's just a weird, melodic, 100 BPM trance that's sometimes a bit trip hoppy. It's just, I like that. I like to be creative in that kind of way. But There's something I learned. I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this whole game about 25 years. I've been doing it since I was a teenager, and I'm in my 40s, put it that way. A few years back when I became Ben Rmbr. Ben Rmbr is not when I started making music. Ben Rmbr is when I became a house artist. I was making drum and bass and dubstep and breakbeat before that, and a bit of trance before that, and hard house at that same sort of time. Ben Rmbr is just the birth of house music to me, like as a music producer. And what I really established and realized and learned, trial by fire, was how to build a brand, how to be someone who's writing music for bigger record labels, not just putting stuff out on smaller labels and hoping, actually putting stuff out on proper labels, like Toolroom, for instance, where I got a record deal, and actually trying to build a career out of it, like actually trying to do that thing, quit my day job, went self-employed with music, all that kind of stuff. I've done it all. I've been there. I'm there. I'm doing it. It's like a part of what I do. So what I try and teach people is that method of how you maintain being an authentic, I hate that word, but you get me, an authentic artist, whilst also realizing that there is a game to be played here. And if you play it well, you can be you and win the game at the same time. Because winning doesn't mean being number one every single second of every single day. Winning can mean just getting enough money to get by so you can do the thing you love. That, imagine just like that's amazing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like just actually living a life where you make music. You're not going to go out and buy a Ferrari or a yacht. Who the fuck needs any of that stuff? I think there's a way that we can all do this. And I think there's a way to kind of think about music. And even if you take a career away from it and just sort of, I A&R with a lot of artists, and I've done a lot of work over the years, working with artists, helping them finish records and that kind of stuff, as well as being a music producer and a teacher and all this kind of stuff. And one of the things that that's taught me quite deeply is most artists I work with are so close to getting it right, but the bit they get wrong, it really turns record labels off. It's not like, oh my God, yeah, I just need another 10 years to get good at EQing. It's not any of that stuff. Everyone thinks it is, and it isn't. A lot of the time, it's the way people approach music. It's not actually what they're doing in Ableton that's wrong. Everyone thinks they're going to get better at Ableton, don't they? I'll get better at the plugins. I'll figure out how to do this stuff. Once I understand compression, then I'll be fine. And honestly, a lot of the time what I talk about with artists is never what's happening like, oh, you need to get better at this plugin or that technique. It's very rare. There's a little bit of it, but it's quite often about the art form, how you're approaching it. If we're using this kind of style and we're aiming for that kind of label, why have we got this kind of vocal? It doesn't make sense. You might have thought it was cool, but to everyone else who wasn't in your creative process, and the creative process is a sneaky beast, it's really fun. And that fun often can kind of make us think things are better than they are, or worse than they are, right? We've all definitely been there. That's for sure. So yeah, this is my way of kind of opening the lid to everyone, rather than it being on my course behind a paywall and all that kind of stuff. I want to kind of start lifting the lid a little bit on this stuff on a live stream around how I do this. And it's in a very kind of real world kind of way. So this record that we've got in front of us here, excuse me, still got this cough, is a record I've been working on, right? Let me bring it all the way back round. I tend to go off on tangents, by the way. As we start doing live streams, you'll get used to that with me. This record, I've been building on my demo strategy course, right? It has been about 10 lessons that are all about an hour and a half each. And I've probably put about 10 hours outside the lessons. Like sometimes there's a lesson and we do loads of stuff and figure it out. But by the end, I'm like, look, we figured this out, but this needs figuring out. And I need an ear break. Let's end the lesson. And then I'll come in with fresh ears without having to, when you're teaching, you're talking and thinking and kind of being a presenter all at the same time. Like the way I'm being now is not how I behave when I'm making music on my own, right? So sometimes I like to just sit on my own and go like, let's just figure this out. And something goes, what about this, Ben? And you go, oh yeah, that's what it was. And then I roughly do it. And then the next lesson is me kind of going, hey, look, I sort of figured it out. Let's do it in, I've got the ball rolling in the right direction now. And then that's what the next lesson becomes, right? So this is about, 15 to 20 hours deep of work, just to give you a bit of a kind of understanding. Thank you, Starks, man. I appreciate that, dude. What this is about tonight is this is a full arrangement. And I want to hand it into Jewel Kid, who owns Alianza, because he's in London on Friday, and so am I. In fact, we're going to be in the same building. In fact, he's in the building that I'm in, and he's asking people to give him demos. And I felt like it was probably a pretty good opportunity to hand in a demo, even though it's not quite ready. And, you know, it's life. The last 3 weeks, I actually just saw the date. The last time I opened this project, I showed everyone on a live stream a couple of weeks ago, just briefly. We didn't talk about it, we just showed it and then moved on to A&R and everyone else's stuff. But I haven't opened and worked on this project, as in, you know, a save that's had work done to it. You can see that on the saves for a straight up month. I think it was like the 6th of May. So it's like a straight month since I was last in here. So it should be done. I've made 2 other good song ideas in between there, and I wanted to come back to this one with fresh ears, which is what we are all going to do together tonight, right? So the record is finished. I'm not looking to change the stab. I'm not looking to change the bass. I think the drums are rocking. I think the vocals really good. I think the effects are where I want them, very minimal. Like there's not a lot of effects. I'm using more automation and some stylistic based stuff, which we'll see as we start working on this. So it's not that so much. This is that kind of thing that a lot of people get stuck on. Like, is my record finished? Is it ready to hand in to a record label? Yeah, but anyone know that feeling? Yeah, like it's hard to know sometimes, isn't it? Now I have an inkling. I've had a few weeks away from this, and I've come back in. I've listened to it on my phone speakers today. I've already got some notes in my head. But before I get into that, I want to show you how I got here. I want to show you a little bit about like my plan, my roadmap, how I do this, why the record is the way it is, to give you all like some real context, not just to the work tonight, but how I approach record labels, like how I approach this whole thing. Like it's going to be, it's a really important thing for me. So if we bring up this little image here, this is a collection of labels, right? This collection of labels is my roadmap, I call this, right? But it's not a roadmap in the traditional sense. I do 2 different types of roadmaps. Sometimes I'll do them in like label 1, label 2, label 3, label 4, like a timeline. I'm going to release on this one, then that one, then that one. And you get the point, right? Over a period of like a year, whatever, right? This is a different way of approaching that idea. This is more like a tiered system. It comes from an awful lot of research. There's a couple of guys in the chat here who are actually on my demo strategy course, and they will tell you firsthand the amount of research, because it's all in the lessons. Like the lessons aren't just music production, they're all this kind of stuff as well, like hours of stuff with this, you know, being on Beatport and all the rest of it, like looking for stuff, finding new labels. And like I've always said to people, I've been quiet on music for a couple of years because I've been building a business in music, you know. Oddly enough, funnily enough, to make enough money in music, it means I can't find the time to make my own music, which is something I'm trying to change. And because of that, I'm a bit out of the loop. I'll be honest. Look, I got a record deal with Toolroom. I was putting stuff out. Radio 1 were playing my stuff, daytime radio and all the rest of it. I was doing all right. And then I had kids, pandemic, la 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 la. All these years later, you know, I'll put my focus into mixing and mastering and teaching and building courses and building all this kind of stuff. So sure, I'm Ben Rmbr, and sure, I know how to make my sound, but where does my sound belong in 2026? I had to start doing research, and that's where this comes from. We won't do the research tonight, but here's a collection of labels that are on my radar at the moment, right? And any of you that understand the scene will probably recognize very quickly that they all live in a very similar space. We've got Brobot, House Shoe, Alianza, Trax, Who Plays, Rig Kids, Rec Kids, I think it's Rec Kids, Cecile, Phoenix, and Toolroom. All of which, apart from Toolroom's a slight outlier here, oddly enough, we'll talk about that. All of these release funky house, right? Modern tech house that's funky house, right? That, in a generalized nutshell, that's what they all put out. Now, there is real nuance to each of these. They are not the same. I cannot use a reference track from Alianza to make a Phoenix music record. Straight up, can't do it. It just doesn't make sense. You couldn't use a Who Plays to make a Cecile record. No way. Doesn't make any sense, yeah? So what this is for me is I use reference tracks quite a lot to help steer my creativity. As I was saying, my creativity goes all over the place. So I use reference tracks to put not parameters on my creativity, but guide rails on my creativity. So I can, rather than my creativity firing off like this, it becomes more focused. That isn't lessening my creativity, it's actually focusing it. It's controlling it and making it a stronger focus right on top of what I need to. Yeah, and when I reference, which I can't get into in detail on this live stream, because I can't play reference tracks on YouTube because this stream will get pulled. We straight up can't do it. But I do an awful lot of referencing. I use reference tracks a lot in mixing, in mastering, in my creativity. At no point is there any copying. At no point does it take anything away from me doing exactly what I want to do. Typically, what I want to do ends up being inspired by where I want my music to go. It kind of comes full circle. It becomes this momentum where the labels I love are putting music out I love, which is very similar to what I love because I make what I love. And you see what I'm saying? And sometimes that momentum's hard to get going. When you're new to this way of thinking and new to this kind of thing, it is jarring. And I'm sure the guys who are on chat here, who are on my course, my demo strategy course, won't mind saying to you that when they first, there's a few, when they first come in, they're a bit like, this is actually making it even harder. This is actually a bit jarring. It's actually making music production even harder than it was. It's a bit like learning a new language and anything like that. There's this like bit you've got to get past first, where everything can feel a bit. Yeah, this screen's going to keep crashing. Apologies. I don't think it makes any difference to you guys. In fact, if I think, yeah. Sorry, guys. It's just for some reason it just keeps crashing. Really annoying. I've got another screen and I could not find it today for love nor money. Yes. Okay. We just reconnect. It's because I've got you guys down on a small screen so I can keep an eye on chat. Otherwise, I'll just be waffling on and the screen would have crashed and I wouldn't even realise. Okay, cool. We're back. Right. Mic working. Let's double check all the mics again. It's always, have you noticed every single stream I've done, I've got one new annoying bug that wasn't a bug last time? Like I fix one and I get another one. Live streaming. Where was I? Yes, it can be. It's a new language. It's a new skill. It's a whole new, quite advanced way of thinking about music. To be honest, it's not like, oh, I've been making music a week. I'll just jump straight in and understand this all. This is 25 years of experience. This is how I got. This kind of thinking is how I took at the time 15 years of experience, completely changed genre of music, and within 2 years got a record deal. Not just like one song sign, like an actual 5-year record deal with Toolroom, which was like the peak of the labels I was looking for. When I first started that journey, I would joke with my brother when we would go for a run together in Bristol. I would joke about like being able to get onto Toolroom. Like it would be like, just imagine. It would be like, as in like, that's not possible. And it's this is the method I came up with to actually achieve that. So in front of us, what we've got, right, for my record, I was very much inspired by this label, Rekids or Rekids. I think it's Records. People keep telling me it's Rekids. I'm pretty sure it's Rekids. This record was very much, the song we're going to listen to was very much inspired by this label. I can't show you any of the reference tracks, but if you go there and listen, you'll hear stuff by Rmbr, which is very much an inspiration of mine. Always big fan of Rmbr, always have been. There's a bunch of records on there. Tiger Stripes as well. I'm a huge Tiger Stripes fan ever since his techno stuff, and the stuff he's doing nowadays, it just shows how amazing that dude is. Like his techno stuff is just on its own level. He's so talented, and now he's making the sort of stuff I really like this sort of stuff. And it's just on a completely different level to most people. He's just a very talented human being. So very much inspired by that sort of vibe and sound. So you might be thinking, okay, Ben, that's interesting, but aren't you giving this to Alianza on Friday? That's a different record label, mate. Is that a problem? Yeah, it's definitely records, isn't it? It's like a record. It's like another way of saying record, isn't it? Like records. Oh, it definitely is. I'm definitely right with this. Hey, I'm definitely right, mate. I don't care what other people keep telling me. I keep losing my train of thought. Yeah, now it is a problem. Yeah. Let's start with a simple fact that it is a problem. I think it's because it's trying to update. It's going to keep crashing. I'm just going to power through, guys. And what I'll do is just keep checking OBS like this. And might even restart this thing. Bear with me 2 seconds, guys. Update and shut down. It's going to take 8 minutes. Yes, because it wants to update. How funny is that? Update and restart. Sorry about this, guys. Right, let me put, I'll tell you what we'll do. Look, we'll put OBS. So I can see the chat. Yeah, and that's not too jarring for everyone. Just have that floating there like that, is it? Does that look all good on chat, by the way? Let me know. Apologies about this. Updating. And then I can see the chat here, and then we can still talk. Okay, yeah, let me know in chat. I'm about a minute in front of you guys, but just let me know in chat when you see this bit about, like, can you see the chat over there? Is everything still running? Can you still hear me? Are we still all here? If full black screen, like both screens, then so I'm a bit like, ugh. Looks like it's still. Yeah, I know, Paul. Don't, mate. I know. I know. Right. Okay. So let me get back into the flow here. So Records is different than Alianza. It is. It is different. It's not the same record label. Alianza's stuff is tougher. It's more techno focused. Jewel Kid's stuff himself, I would say, it's almost more funky techno-y tech house than it is disco-y funky house tech house, right? And I think I would say that's how, using these buzzwords, I would describe the difference between Alianza and Records. I would say Records is probably closer to tracks in an interesting kind of way, or like my old school version of tracks. It's a bit more kind of like, it's just cool. It's just straight up cool. It's not always really hard. It's not always really fast. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's really slow. The release is always quite unique. They're always EPs. It's never just a single. It's always a 3-track EP, or at least it has been this year. But they do. This is Records. They release big artists. That's the thing. They're not mucking around over there. Butch was the last release. There was Riva Star before that. Not Jewel Kid. Tiger Stripes before that. There was someone else in the middle there that's massive as well. Sorry, I've forgotten your name. They're not mucking around. They're not the sort of record label you go, oh, I quite like this stuff. I'll just send my first demo there. They're like, I'm sure they just sign good music. Do you know what I mean? But they've clearly are rubbing elbows a lot with very credible, very well-known big artists that are in the scene, are DJing, are doing a thing. That's obviously what they are putting out, because they've obviously, that's who they're rubbing elbows with. That's who they're gonna put out, right? So not a record label that you can just come out of nowhere. Like, even for me, I've got no motion at the moment. Sure, I've had a record deal on Tool Room. Yes, I've just signed a record to Tool Room Tracks. It's coming out next month. It's my first record I made on this new sort of like, let's get going again. That one's been signed to Tool Room Tracks, but I don't have any motion, not like I used to. A lot of these labels, if I speak to them, they're like, oh yeah, I used to pay your stuff back then. So I do have a touch of motion with these labels, like a touch, but it's not the kind of motion you need to be like wading into like a big label like that, being like, yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, Mark Broom, Butch, the Hacker. Yeah, you can't just float about with that label. You've got to have some motion. You've got to have some real records behind you. You've got to be putting stuff out on labels that are associated with their label, as in labels they'll know, which is all the ones you can see in front of us, to be perfectly honest. So this is how this works. This label, all of these are in the peripheral of this label, and others. There's obviously others as well. There's a lot. But just to simplify the amount of labels that are out there right now, they're all in the peripheral, right? So can we what happens if we make a record for here, but we get an opportunity to demo to here? Now, this would never happen. This is the first time I've ever done this in my entire life. I'm going to a Tool Room event on Friday in London, and Jewel Kid is there, and he wants people to give him demos. You can't turn the opportunity down, can you? So we're having to do like a very, very unusual move here as a music producer, but it's about opportunity, isn't it? If you don't take opportunities, if you want to do this thing in music and you don't take opportunities, you're fucked. Like, you can't. You just got to. You have to take opportunities. So we've got to think on our feet. We've got to think on our feet and go, right, is this record going to be, could we send this record to Alianza? So, yeah, they have, mate. Yeah, Records has been around forever. Yeah. Most of these labels you can see in front of you have. Most of them that you can see in front of you have been around a while. Maybe House Shoe, but it's still a few years, isn't it? But Cecile, Phoenix have been around forever. Who Plays, I suppose, is relatively new in comparison. Alianza's been around a while. Trax has been around for longer than me. Toolroom, yeah. I'm not sure about Brobot, but the pedigree on the labels tells me it's been around for a while. I love Brobot because they just put out real weird stuff. It's just like Brobot scratches that like, oh, that's just cool for the sake of being cool stuff. That's just such a cool label. All really like less about really polished, big room, going to do well on Spotify stuff. It's all just sort of like raw, all out of analog, bit rough around the edges, just really cool. Understated but super cool stuff on Brobot. I love it. But yeah, so we've got to figure this out. Like what happens here? So this is why a roadmap in this kind of way can be super powerful, because what we have is all of these record labels, right? All of them, you could demo this song to all of them, but there's an outer limit, right? So we've written a record that goes more to here. I don't think it would go on Toolroom. I think it's too underground sounding for Toolroom. And I also, even for me, who's just signed a record to Trax, doesn't have the motion right now, meaning like the momentum, the releases, the kind of hype around me to go to Toolroom. Toolroom's massive. Is what it is, right? They're a big label. You can't just like float demos to them. You got to have some movement to you. You know, you got to have momentum on you when you send stuff to those boys. So I've got something coming on Trax, fine, but I still don't have this kind of momentum. So we've got to kind of think laterally. We've got to go sideways, right? So I think from here, Alianza, Trax, and Who Plays, I think these guys, this is like level 1, this is level 2, and these guys are all level 3, but there's a real mixture in here. Records is like the kind of more lo-fi, chunky, interesting, off-the-wall, cool stuff. Cecile is really musical, and Phoenix Music is really musical, but, you know, they do put out some bumpy stuff as well. It's like the middle ground. You could kind of like put Phoenix, you could go Kids, Phoenix, Cecile as like this barometer of like more raw stuff, slightly more musical sometimes, but also do raw stuff to just straight up more musical stuff. That's kind of how I would think about doing that. And then, yeah, again, Toolroom is just the outlier. It's just one of those sort of labels. Everyone wants to release on them, but they are just almost not even considered like an underground sort of label. That's how they work. So I think Alianza, Trax, and Who Plays all sit in this net where if I write a record for Trax, it would probably be able to be demoed for Who Plays and also Alianza. I feel pretty confident in that. Like if I took a reference track from Alianza, a reference track from Trax, and a reference track from Who Plays, you'd definitely be able to play them all in the set together, right next to each other. No one would be like, oh, this one went a bit more tough. Oh, this one went a bit more soft. They would all work together phenomenally well, you know, like they really would. And I think Records sits just outside of that. And I actually think Records is actually a part of this group, right? Stylistically speaking, I think Records is a part of that group where they all work together. You can play those 4 labels in a set and you could just hit randomize on the order of the tracks that got played and it would still all work, wouldn't it? I fully believe that. The only thing is that Records, I really can't say it properly, can I? Records is a bigger label. It's just a more pedigreed label. It's just been around longer and the artists they're putting out are ridiculous. Yeah. So I think Alianza, Trax, and Who Plays are good stepping stone labels to get to a label like Records. Okay. So with that in mind, we should find that the record I made for this label should translate pretty well to Alianza. My only concern and the only reason why I think that Jewel could come back and say like, oh mate, this is cool, not quite for us. I definitely, honestly, I'm not just saying it, send me more stuff. But this one's not quite for us, is because this record, as we're going to go in and listen to it now, isn't as techno-y as I would think of an Alianza record. They definitely have put out, I was looking the other day, they have put out some like, not softer stuff, but not, you know, stuff that's not quite 130 and real tough, you know, like Jewel Kid's kick drums are like, Jewel Kid kick drums, aren't they? There's something. And it's got that hypey, more techno-y sort of sizzle to everything. Where my one doesn't. I feel like mine's a bit more kind of quirky and a bit more kind of Ben Remembery, to be honest. Like but then you could say that about my stuff versus most of the stuff that goes on Trax. And I managed to get stuff tied into Trax, but my stuff is still a bit Ben Remembery compared to like everyone else's stuff on there. So I'm wondering if I can manage to pull that Ben Remember effect into Alianza and pull a Ben Remember with it and just sort of be a slight outlier on the sort of stuff that they sign, but in the pocket enough that I get the green light. Do you know what I'm saying? That's my hope. But if he says no, I know why. Yeah, it's not as fast. It's not as tough. It's not as techno-esque. It's not as hypey. It is a bit more kind of like off the grid, bumpy, kind of weird sort of stuff, right? Cool. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. So, with all that said, I just wanted to start with that for half an hour, just to tuck into that kind of like mode of thinking. I think it's important because it really sets up what I'm trying to do and why I try and do it, and like why I'd put so much effort into like taking an opportunity, and how do I think about that, right? So we can't do any analysis of any reference tracks, but we are going to look at the demo track now, mate. We're going to look at my song now. That's what we're going to do. We're going to literally listen to it from start to finish. Well, I won't bore you all to tears by giving you the intro. We'll go from about here, right? We'll go from about here, and we'll stop it about there. And I won't say anything just yet until might be able to get back onto the screen now as well. Let's restart. It's updated. I won't say anything about it until we've listened to it. Now, just to kind of go back in and talk about where we're at with this record, just to keep you all kind of frameworked up on what I want to do here, because obviously I've asked you all to come here to give me a hand on what should we do with this track, like what's wrong with it. I need some A&R ears to help me out. Just to sort of preface this, just because I don't want any of you thinking, oh, you just ignored my thing, or I said this, but you didn't do it. For me, this record is basically finished. It does not need a new hook. It does not need a new vocal. I'm not changing the drums. I'm not going to put like, oh, maybe it needs a more like this kind of bass line. I'm not doing it. The song's finished. But there are a couple of big issues in this record that are quite hard to solve. I hope we can solve them on tonight's stream. If not, I at least hope we come up with an idea and then I can go away and do it. And maybe we'll do another live stream in the future, especially if it gets signed. We'll definitely do another live stream and do that and kind of break it all down. Okay, so quick sound check. Let me know on chat.
From different religion, different skin color, but yet we come to This is an education for those idiots that only have hate in their hearts. Shine on, people, shine on.
Okay. And then there's an outro, right? Which is too long. We're at nearly 6 minutes, which, you know, I'm old school. 6 minutes is normal to me, right? But it could be a bit shorter. I don't think it needs to be that long. I think we can take 16 bars off it, and maybe that changes the way we approach the second half. Also, this is worth me mentioning. This is completely unmixed. Like, completely no mixing at all. Like, completely unmixed. There's a couple of EQs in here, but all these plugins you see across here, it's all like sound design stuff. Like, it's all stuff just to kind of get things to kind of have the energy I'm looking for, like saturation, reverb and stuff. But the main stab doesn't have an EQ on it. No EQ at all. So yeah, just for kind of context. That isn't what I want to do tonight. And in fact, actually what I'm going to do tomorrow is run this session with you guys tonight, figure out either fix the problems or just kind of run through what the solutions might be. And then tomorrow I'm going to sit down, fresh ears on my own, figure that, you know, do that work and mix it down at the same time, do a little master just so it's ready for Friday, tomorrow being Thursday, the day before Friday, nothing like keeping it to the last minute. So yeah, mix wise, put it all to one side. Don't worry about it. It's rough as hell. Kind of the way I like my music, to be honest. The less plugins I use, the better. I don't go in, oh, I've got to get compression on each of these little things. Nah, fuck all that. Don't like it. I like things sounding like this. But when I'm hearing this with fresh ears today, I'm like, there's a lot of things. This is not mixed. Like, to my ear, I'm like, all the tops are too quiet in the drums, the stab's too loud, the vocal's too quiet, the vocal needs EQing, vocal needs compression, to be fair. Yeah, there's just a general flatness to everything. I've got an analog chain here. I don't know if I just switch to this camera, my analog chain here, which is a Manley compressor, a Manley EQ, and then a Neve sort of processing thing at the end. It's got like some sterilizing and stuff on the far side of it. That is, I will tend to mix in the box, but then pass everything through the analog chain. And I've got a few bits and pieces either side of me. So if I want, like on my new record, the vocal wasn't quite popping out. So I sent the vocal through a couple of these bits and things like that I will do as well. But yeah, that tends to give my records that kind of final kind of, ooh, that feels finished feeling. And this does not feel quite there. This is still very much in a creative phase. This is like, this draft, if I didn't have to rush this done for Friday, I wouldn't be coming back to this record yet. I've got 2 other ideas I'm working on that I think are better, I'll be honest, that no one's heard yet. They're going to be new lessons for my Demonstrator crew moving forwards. And I think they're better. but none of them, they're even less finished. Like both of those are just like 48 bar kind of, 2-minute long little sketches. One of them I love, but I'm going to completely change the vocal. It's still in that kind of phase. This is the closest one to being like, well, this is the song, but it is a draft. Okay, so for me, there's a couple of little things that need tidying up. There's some automations I heard that feel a bit weird. For instance, I noticed like something weird here where the kick drum drops out and the bass line high passes and it goes into this little speech. That felt a bit weird. I think there's an automation gone a bit weird there. Bits that I like, I think all this sounds great. I think this edit sounds really cool. I really like going into this vocal, which is set up before. I think that flow into the record works really, really nicely. But this is where the record starts to break for me. And this has been a constant running problem for me whilst working on this record. And I keep changing my mind. I keep like going, oh no, yeah, this is how I'll do it. But then I'm typically stuck. Paul, you'll get it as it's basically anything, dude. It's anything you guys think, because what I need to do is because sometimes people will say things that are outside of the box of what I'm thinking, and that is actually the solution, and I didn't even realize that was the problem. That's music, isn't it? But for me, right, this all flows quite nicely. My first place I go like, near, is about here, where we are bubbling along with the vocal. This is the loopy vocal, starts filtering up, and the stab just comes back in. I've tried every other version you can possibly think of around other ways of doing that. Stab in first, then this, and then that, and then no stab until the breakdown. I've tried it all. The record was longer before. I've shortened it even more than this. It's just one of those where, and then when I go and listen to reference tracks, I realise I'm overthinking it. I'm like, oh yeah, all these records would just bring the stab in. Stop overthinking it, Ben. So that's where I'm at with this. The main thing, I think this is all passable. With a better mix, a couple of things tied up. Some of the edits get a bit clunky. They're not that clear. There's a lot of snares that pitch down and stuff, and it gets a bit like maybe the bass line has to go when that happens. There's some little details, right? There's some little tiny details. Yeah, always go back to reference tracks. Always. So yeah, and that's what I've done with this one, Dan. Like I went back and I might have deleted them out of this project just in case. Yeah, no, they're still all here. Still all here. But we can't listen to them on stream because it will get dinged on the old stream on YouTube. But by listening to the reference tracks, sometimes I tend to overthink things. Like I try too hard to be like, oh, when the stab comes in, there'll be a little double kick, and then I'll do a little reverse, and I'll listen to a really good reference track. And I'm like, oh no, they don't do anything. They just bring the stab in. Like, be more simple, be more raw about it. Stop finessing everything. Stop trying too hard to oversell that something's happening, and just let the good sound have its time. That's actually cooler sounding than overselling an edit. So I think there's a little bit of finessing in that kind of way to do. But that's very me. I always overdo edits and stuff. Mark Knight has been telling me this since they first signed me. Like he'd phone me up and be like, dude, I need half of the edits on this record, please, mate. Just calm down. Very common. It's been a very common thing from my learning curve when I was first coming through. Was very much like I do too much in a song, which is funny because a lot of you will be like, oh, that's funny, Ben, because you're always telling me the same thing. And that's why I say it, because I know I've learnt myself. Now, this is the big thing. This is the bit that's not right for me. Hearing it today with fresh ears, I'm sure, 100% it's not right. The vocal. Now, the entire idea is created with this vocal sample, which I can't show you because it will probably get dinged, because it is sampled from something from YouTube and then pitched down and mangled and cut up and moved around. That what's going down is the same vocal as the one you hear in the breakdown. When he's doing that whole speech, that's the same vocal as the what's going down one. It's just cut up and moved and stuff. Now, funny enough, Dan mentioned earlier on chat, oh, you ended up using the idiots bit. He's saying it because in one of the lessons, early lessons in the demo strategy course on this, when I first found this, I was like, that's a bit I won't be able to use. It's just too, it's a bit crass. It's not very vibey to say idiots and so on. But it just so happened that music, the songs forced me to change my mind. The idea forced me to change my mind. So the one bit I do really like in here that I definitely I don't care if everyone else tells me it's shit, I'm still going to keep it kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? I'm like that about this one. Is this bit here, as you crescendo into the drums coming back in, you get him doing his little speech, and he says like, for the idiots with hate in their heart, and the way that then transitions into the organ stopping, and the organ is a separate sample down here. Which one are you? Which one is the organ? I'm pretty sure it's this one, but it doesn't look like it. Yeah, I don't know why it's called that. And I've just cooked it with some filter, but they're using the drive on this filter, which is a really nice sounding one, and a little touch of EQ, as in, you know what I mean? I really like the way this organ ends abruptly with the way he ends his speech, and the way that goes into the next section, where the ride comes in, which is a very stylistically like different sort of vibe. That kind of jazzy, bluesy vibe, which was very much one of the buzzwords we were using when I first started making this in my course with the class. One of the big buzzwords was about bluesy and jazzy, about sound choice with a lot of stuff. Yeah, we're going to play it through again, mate. Sorry, I'm vocalizing everything. I know I'm like a stream of consciousness sometimes. I don't know when to stop talking. I just want to run it through, and then we'll play it back round with all of this in our heads, so we can start figuring it out. Do you get me? So as we go into that, and I'll show you this little bit actually, just so it's clear what I'm talking about. Hello.
To celebrate life together. This is an education for those idiots that only have hate in their hearts.
And the crowd sound and everything is naturally from that. It's actually straight up, actually just in the sample. It's all timed just perfectly, not by me. It just happens to work well. I feel like the way that goes from him ending that like speech about like not hating people and coming together, which is obviously very much like house music speech, straight into the crowd being like, yeah, he's the one. It goes into ding, 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 with all the other bits bubbling up. For me, that's a real vibe. Oh, awesome. Yeah, glad you're here, Shay, man. Good to see you, dude. Been a long time, mate. Been a long time. Yeah, I want to do these in the evening a little more often whenever I can, because obviously, you know, everyone I work with is worldwide. So me being in the UK, there's a bit of time difference for a lot of people I want to work with in that kind of way, yeah. Yeah, no, in it, Casa. I'm all about this more raw, rough sound, dude. And in the reference tracks, I've got a very much like raw and rough like this, like all the labels we were talking about at the start. And this one to go to not to Rikid, sorry. This one going to Alianza. Alianza's a bit rough. I think I need to clean it up a little for a label like Alianza, you know, get a bit more definition in that kick and things like that, I think, for that label. But I'll be honest, I'll be completely honest. I don't know Jewel Kid well. I know his music well enough to know that he's like proper switched on. Every single human being I've ever worked with in all of these years that own labels and put music out, do you know the only human beings that fuss about mixdowns are us lot, the producers? The record labels don't actually care. They care about the end result once it goes out on their label, but as a demo, it doesn't need to be the best sound. It doesn't need to be the most sonically perfect song in the world. If you write a really good idea, a label will talk to you. They might say, "Hey, look, we need to get this mixed down by our engineer. We'll take it off your offer deal. You know, it will cost £1,000, £500, whatever. It depends who you're working with, and we'll take that off on your contract. You know, you'll have to pay us back through sales, which will take 400,000 years these days." You know, but you know, that's, you know, just because the sort of thing labels do. Yeah. That's very normal, even for big labels like Toolroom. Like, I think a lot of people think that your records have got to be super duper polished to be a demo, and they really don't. I'd honestly, I would feel very comfortable banging a limiter on this. In fact, I might even have one on there now. Yeah, I do. Banging a limiter on this and just giving it to Jewel Kid on Friday. If we sort out what my problems are with it. Oh, that's wicked. Yeah, dude. Well, definitely do it. Yeah, so he's really nice. I've chatted to him on Insta now. He was the same. He was like, "Oh, dude, yeah, I used to play your stuff. I didn't know you were back." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm trying to come back." He was like, "Send me some music." And I was like, "I'll see you Friday." He's a really nice dude. Yeah, and so like records don't have to be. They can't sound crap. There's a threshold to everything, right? We're talking. It's music. Ben said I don't have to have a polished record, so I sent them this. But then Ben said that mix sounds absolutely terrible. You know, there's obviously a bit of wiggle room. You can't just send in something that's horrendous. But like something like how this is, it's a bit rough around the edges. But if a label liked the idea, they would hit you up and be like, "This is wicked." Bit rough around the edges, though, isn't it, mate? Can you sort that out, or have you got an engineer, or you know what should we do about this? No, that's very normal, even with a big label like Touring. You should hear some of the demos because I'm an insider. Some of the big records that go out on Touring, not I'm going to name any names, but some of the big records that go out on Touring do not sound like that when they came in as like a demo. No, sir. No, sirree. No, they don't. It's including my own stuff. And you go listen to my stuff when I first came through. The mix sounds are shocking. If I didn't have Andy from AMPM, shout out Andy from AMPM, friend of the show. If I didn't have him mastering my stuff back then, yeesh. And even with his amazing mastering skills, they still sound yeesh. But I suppose it became a part of my sound, to be honest, which is ironic. But anyway, I just wanted to say that, so I was just sort of thinking about it. Sorry, I'm probably, when you guys are writing on chat to when I'm talking, it's probably a real weird delay for you guys. I'm not sure. Hard for me to tell, but yeah. Okay, right. Let's get locked in here. We've done an hour of setup, talking about everything. We kind of know where we're at. We kind of know what the problems are now, right? Now we've got another hour to try and solve this. Okay, so the problem. Context. Context inside of hooks is everything. What do we have in this record? Now, I made the record, so I know there's this whole speech that I wrote a lot of it too. And look, I don't know if you guys know this, you might have called it on my Instagram, but the bass line is made from the same sample. Yeah, I can't show you because it will get dinged, but here's the bass line on its own. Yeah, that is from the same sample as where the vocal is from. It's a whole band playing that I've filtered. The stab is also from the same sample. That's actually from within the sample that we're using. That's a little splice where there's a trumpet and a guitar. There's a whole song. There's like loads of stuff there. I've just sliced it and janked it right out with, like if I turn all my plugins off, it might slightly be clearer. It's a trumpet. It's a trumpet that's like in a whole song. It's not stem split or anything. It's just literally like that. And then a load of plugins on it. So almost all of this song, its DNA comes from the same kind of like, oh, that's quite cool. So it's like the same universe has been baked into, hey Mike, baked into the actual idea. The whole thing's kind of been baked in there. Hey Harlan, how you doing, man? How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So there's this continuity with everything, right? There's this feeling about everything. Yeah, man, it's been ages. Hope you're doing well. Why am I bringing that up? Sorry, I'm trying to think and talk at the same time. Why am I bringing that up? As an artist, I know, and I see other people fall trapped to this, because I know the sample and I know what's in it, we tend to overuse those things. And we tend to know, because it's this whole speech, and this speech is even longer than what I'm using, we tend to feel like it's got to have these bits in it and so on, right? I personally think, right, if you, now I've got fresh ears on this, I've not heard this in a month, remember, apart from some odd little times. When we got to here, and you're bubbling along, and it's like, what's going down? Ba-bum, bum, what's going down? And then the stab comes in, you're like, wee, and then some extra shakers come in, then it does a little edit and go to a breakdown. All of a sudden, you've got some lad talking about war is not the answer. The context is wrong.
War is not the answer, only love can conquer hate.
Here's... Calm down, Zaps. Here's the rub with that, right? I know the sample, so my brain joins the dots for the context. I've worked with so many people who make this mistake. We make the dots up in our heads because we know the sample, because we went and got it. So we think it makes sense because we know it. But with fresh ears, for me, the way everything that's been going on before, the aggressive stab, the bumping bass line, the what's going down, bum, bum, to suddenly go, war is not the answer, is, what the fuck is that? What's this got to do with anything? Who's this lad bringing everyone down? Like, come on, man, we're just trying to have fun here, you know? It's a bit like, kind of, the context is weird. Oh yeah, let me know if it does. Sometimes it's because the, sometimes it's because the gate on the sound to stop the audio coming through bugs out on OS. Lots of buggy things when you're streaming, as I'm finding. And yet I have to reset the parameters on the thingy. So let me know if you get a double in. Or also, another thing I can try. Yeah, do let me know always. Yeah, that should be fine. That should be fine. It should be. You shouldn't get any double in unless. Let me check. Let me just press play. Yeah, I can see it trickling in. I'll tell you what I'll do quickly. I can fix it. It's just another of these things you've got to constantly do when you're streaming. Hopefully I can share to this screen now. That's updated and everything will now work perfectly. Won't it, Windows? Mr. Microsoft. Okay. And now I can go... Because I bet you, because of the screen crashing, it's bugged the settings because it was on this screen. 100%. Like, filters. I'll put this up on the main screen so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing, so it's not completely free. So this is, in fact, I'll bring this up here so you can kind of see this as well, although apologies for the like crazy seeing worlds inside of worlds stuff going on up here. So if you see here, this is my mic here, this is me talking. And when I press play on the song, there shouldn't be bleed through. I think I solved it. Sorry, I had to just do that without stopping. I think I've solved it. I just had to get that open threshold up a little bit more. You might find on the release being... Right, 0. It will like fucking explode if I put 0, won't it? Because we don't want it to drag on it. It just needs to switch on and switch off. It's just, sorry, it's just, I just wanted to show you that whilst I was fixing it. And I think it's because the screen crashed. So it reset it. I found, even though I get it all working perfectly, I'll go away, come back, go like, right, let's stream. And the settings won't, even though the settings show the same, they're not working the same as they were before. OBS, it is free to be fair to them, but. Hey, Pad, how you doing, man? How you doing? Right. Yeah, I think you're right, Natty. I think if we've got a vocal, right, to bring it back in, sorry, these little technical side hustles that we have to do during these live streams. I think you're right. I think if the song is what's going down, it's a question, isn't it? That is a question. The vocal sort of answers it. Because in some form you could think like what's going down, meaning like what is going on, and then he is like war is not the answer. Like what's going down? War is not the answer. You can draw the parallel. I mean, of course you can. It's from the same speech. It's literally from right next to it. It's actually kind of how it goes. But interestingly, in the context of listening to it as a house record, that context is lost a little bit, isn't it? It doesn't quite work. Also, I feel that it's too much vocal. I think I know the answer, but I still think the context is going to be weird. But I think there's a certain point where a speech has just got to start, right? I know that sounds silly, but a speech has got to start. And a speech is a little bit different to... I was going to turn my mic down as well. My mic's a bit loud. Let me know if my mic's ever like clip in or too loud and things like that as well. I can sort of see it, but we're still an absolute streaming newbie, as you might I've noticed. we will become pro one day. A speech has got to start somewhere. And all these records where you use a speech, you can't have it like always setting it up and always like, hey, is a speech coming? Like, it's just not how it works. But it's about the way in which you create an environment in a record that feels like you can switch into like a mode that feels right, like a platform for someone to start talking. I think it's the pacing of this. I think the pacing... No, it's just going to keep crashing. Fuck it. We'll just do it like this, guys. It's not any bother anyway, is it? Apart from when Windows starts doing that. I'm just going to keep the chat over here, guys, because this screen keeps crashing. I'll figure it out for next time. I'm going to dig it. I've got a screen that is HDMI that will make all this go away. I just can't find it here. Right. Anyway, this is fine like this anyway, isn't it? With a little chat on the side. You guys don't mind having that over there, do you? It's the pacing. The pacing, right, is we do main vocal, then it pitches down into a little speech, right, where he starts going, this is the first breakdown.
I'm so glad that...
Right, so let's just tidy some of this stuff up, right? Because there it makes sense, like he just starts talking, but there's something weird. There's an automation where I think that ride feels like it comes in late or something. Something's weird there that shouldn't be. Hello, Mr. Silly, as Peanut would say. Okay, what does that sound like?
I'm so glad that...
Yeah, I don't want... I think maybe that's got to go away. There's something to do with that transition that's got to feel more like it's supporting him starting to talk. It's literally the same problem in a different place. That's not a coincidence, and I didn't realise that before starting the sentence. It's the same problem. It's to do with creating an environment in the record that feels like it gives a platform for someone just to start talking. So it just feels like you don't have to think about it. It's just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. At the moment, neither of those bits quite make sense.
I'm so glad that you feel the same way as we do. We all love music so much that it's not only the soundtrack of our lives, but it's...
I like the switch down into the drums being gone here. This is the low-pass filter on the whole drum group. Sorry, I should probably explain myself a little bit better about what we're doing here, shouldn't I? This is the drum group here. I like that transition being more like the drums go, because there's the clap in the top loop, which I like in the build, but that clap coming in as he starts trying to talk, it's a bit too much information. So that's less information and more focus on his voice. The bass line's still there that I think is cool. Maybe the high pass kick needs to stay in. Let's just try that. Let's just without being too clever with it a second.
I'm so glad that...
What's the automation's doing here? Maybe, but with it like, is that just turn off and on, does it? No, it's just like that. Okay, cool. So why did that sound like it got louder? Anyone else feel like that got louder?
I'm so glad.
No, it's just because all the other stuff stopped. Maybe it could filter up. Like, so it's the tick is there. It's just that the momentum stopping might be a bit too much is all I'm wondering. 'Cause for a first breakdown, when a DJ's kind of mixing through it, the momentum suddenly, like all the sort of rhythm completely stopping. Again, you know, like I've said, I tend to overthink things. I have to have these thoughts. I have to try things out. And then I realise it was just fine as it was. As a creative person, don't ever be afraid to just go spend an hour to get back to what you thought was right anyway. That's never wrong, by the way. That's never time wasted. That is not a time wasted event. As a music producer, lean into those moments and just realise they're a part of it. It's fine.
I'm so glad that you feel the same way as we do. We all love music so much that it's not only the soundtrack of our lives, but it's fire, it's energy giving.
That works quite nicely, actually. And funny enough, look, I think later on in this breakdown, that's kind of how the main breakdown flow goes. It sort of all filters down on the bass line like that. So we're actually mimicking, without actually meaning to, this the second breakdown, which we'll jump back over to in a second. So that flows a little bit better for me now. and it's taught me something. You should always notice this in your own records. When you find a solution, there's answers within it. The answer is this. It goes, what's going down? Breakdown starts. What's going down is still going. That goes into vocal talking. We had to do work to the groove and stuff to get the vocal to stand out. There's a formula. You don't have to do exactly the same thing on the later breakdown, but that is a formula that the record has shown me, if I'm correct now. Do you know what I mean? I could still be wrong. No, both wrong, but you have to sometimes just take your own, you have to take your own, you have to be a bit egotistical sometimes and tell yourself you're right. Otherwise, you're never going to get anywhere with music. Do you know what I mean? Every artist I know who's like all the best artists I work with, they're so self-assured with their music. It's crazy. Every really good producer, very few of them are like, oh, I don't know. They're always like, well, I've got this idea. this, I reckon we use that. And it's going to be like that. I want to do this. And it's like, oh yeah, that's actually a really fucking good record. Fair play. Yeah. Please, mate, do. The full track. Yeah, go on, let me know. Please do let me know. Nicholas. Don't know why I put that accent onto your name then, mate. Apologies. Unintentional accent. We've got a weird delay between me talking and the chat. Apologies. I need to get some like background music for when it's doing it. I'll come back to the chat in a second. I'll finish my thought and then I'll come back. We've got a solution, potential solution that we haven't used. So here we go, same vocal, the what's going down vocal, but we stop it in the breakdown and go straight to this one at the beginning of a breakdown. So technically we're breaking the rule in some form there. The rule was it's in the groove and then in the intro to the breakdown, and then the vocal is the main point of the breakdown. And we've not used that rule here. You don't have to. It doesn't mean like, oh, so I should always only ever do that. It just means that if we are stuck, if you're ever stuck like I am right now, there is a solution here. The solution is right in front of us, you know, like use, you know, there is an option here. Okay, so let's use that option first up. Now, for that option to work, we've got a couple of hurdles to jump over, which is if then we're going to go with that ideology of this vocal has to be in the first part and then this is in the bit when it stops. The bit when it stops is just put a marker in so our brains can understand what we're talking about. At this marker is when the vocal should start, right? It's the speech. Oh, there is a little bit it's going to overlap. That could be perfect. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to snap it on. Yeah. And then there is another little thing that has to happen for the rule, which is, did I do it with Little Altar Boy? Or did I do it with, what did I do it with? Yeah, I must have done. It pitches down. It's been a month since I've done it. Little Altar Boy, pitch. There we go. Look, see, it pitches down. And here I'm pitching down in the groove. Well, technically that should happen in the breakdown. So let's just do that to start with, right? So now we're following our rules. That did snap properly, didn't it? Yeah, and then there's a little bit that's got to go before it like that. Ugh. It's one of those vocals, you know what I mean? One of these. Goes there like that, right? Okay. So then it's going to pitch down in the breakdown. We'll figure this out in a moment. That's a, you know, every single solution creates a new problem, but let's just play that through.
What's going down? 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 The world could see the way we are. Look how I see it today.
Okay. So that doesn't work, right? Where the speech isn't going to allow for it. So we've got to, we're probably lifting the lid, but it's beginning to, you know, it's like, okay, fine, but it's a different bit of vocal. We can't use that bit of vocal again. It won't work. Just go in there. And we need to get to this whole speech. So let's start reverse engineering, like, okay, where can the vocal start? Where should it stop? And just come back to chat a second. So once I'm already expecting that pattern, it changes and it threw me off. The pattern, oh, what? Yeah, on the vocal going and then it going into the spoken word thing. Yeah, I think that's like a thing we have to just realize it's the way it's got to go. So what if can we use like
The spreading of love. If only the world could see the way we are.
if only the world.
If only the world. If only the world. If only the world could see the.
That needs to start at the beginning, which is going to throw everything off. So what we might need to do is get warp markers in. So, because this bit's like perfect. It feels perfect. And luckily the timing of it doesn't have to be perfectly timed because it's spoken word. As long as it feels rhythmically acceptable, we'll get away with it. So I'm going to put a warp marker here and there, and I'm going to pull this over to there, like that, he hopes.
The spreading of love. If only the world could see.
I don't want spreading of love, do I? I just want if only the world could see us like this today. So let's go that back.
If only the.
Oh, okay, it's me getting the wrong warp point, is it?
If only the world could.
What? I definitely warped the right bit then. That's odd, isn't it? Oh, it's because it put. Oh, no, okay, yeah, duh. Pull you back like that.
If only the world could see the way we are. Look, I see it today. This band and.
There's a little time stretching going on there. It's a little rough, but let's see in context. This needs a bit more work as well. It feels a bit empty now, but that's fine.
What's going down? What's going down? If only the world could see the way we are.
It needs to be a little bit later. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit later still. It's still too abrupt.
Of love. If only the world could see the way we are. Look, if only the world.
Yeah, so like the crowd gets a chance. So where's my crowd sound? Is this the one we're using for that?
The world.
An additional crackle because crackles are cool. That organ's got to stop. This is the crowd, isn't it? Filtering down. And the crowd is in here as well.
If only the world could.
No.
If only the.
It is just that then, yeah. Yeah, it's this. So if we fill that up a little bit, Ableton, don't be annoying. And then back down, just to give it a little bit of kind of almost think of it as like an effect sound, like the crowd sort of, it swells it, sort of, I don't know, swells us into that moment a little bit more.
If only the world could see the way we are. Look, I see it today. This man and you. From all over the world we are. And yet we are different faith.
That's cool. That kind of works. It's just about getting the timing perfect on this. So we're going to go, how's it flow?
If only the world could see.
Yeah, it's not miles off, to be honest. It just feels a bit, there's like a click thing here. Let's just smooth that out like that so when he starts talking.
If only the world could see the way we are. Look, I see it today.
Right, let's listen to that longer section in context. I think that does actually work okay. I think it just needs a little producing now, do you know what I mean? You've always got to start with the fundamentals.
What's going down? If only the world could see the way we are. Look, I see it today. This band and you. From all over the world we are. And yet we are different faiths. We are from different religion, different skin color. But yet we come to celebrate life together. This is an education for those idiots that only have hate in their hearts.
Yeah, no, it's already annoying me. It sounds too fast. But it's because I've got to remember, though, that my brain has heard that sample so many times. To hear it at a different warp, it's just going to throw me. Is it going to throw someone hearing it for the first time ever? No. They don't know that same context. It's still not, it's the way he says it isn't quite right. I mean, we haven't got time to go like, oh, get AI to redo it and stuff, have we? We've run out of time. All right, I'll tell you what. Take these warp markers out a sec. Let's bring this back. Let's not forget to calibrate. Let's go back to where it was. And maybe it's that it needs to start a little earlier. Do you know what I mean? Maybe we need more context of his speech and yeah, it needs fudging a little bit more, I guess, because it's not working. Starting with War's Not the Answer is not working. It doesn't work starting. Well, it's not too bad. I don't hate how we just had it, but I definitely want to explore a couple of our options. Do you know what I mean?
War is not the answer, only love can conquer hate. So to do that, we need just to do it one love at a time. Love somebody else, let them love someone else. The spreading of love, if only the world could see the way we are. Look at us here today.
Just out of like pure torturing myself.
What's going down? What's going down? Love somebody else, let them love someone else. The spreading of love.
The spreading of love will work as a starting piece. Because the way he goes like, spreading of love, it feels like someone like beginning a sentence, where when I had it before, it felt like someone in the middle of a sentence. Do you get me? And that's what fucks it up, I think. That's why it just like naturally your brain somehow knows the way he's saying that isn't the beginning of a sentence.
The spreading of love, if only the world could see the...
No, that is just as bad though. It is right to go into that.
If only the world could see the way we are.
It is right going into that. It's just the pacing, the feeling of it's got to be better.
Could see the way we are. Look at us here today, this band and you. The spreading of love, if only the world...
Right, you know what? Another thing we need to check.
If only the...
Let's just put it over and see if it still sounds all right with everything else, and just sort of go fingers crossed it's still kind of cool. If not, we're going to get the old watermarkers out. Now, I'll send it to you. You can do it for me, yeah? It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. You don't need sanity.
If only the world could see the way we are. Look at us here today, this band and you, from all over the world.
You could sort of like try and do it like where like you like almost like fade him up with the crowd to make it feel like it's sort of like segueing like cinema style, like from like off stage to on stage or something. Potentially being a little bit too artsy fartsy there, right? But you know.
What's going down? What's going down? What's going down? If only the world could see the way we are. Look at us here today, this band and you, from all over the world we are. And yet, we are different faiths, we are from different religion, different skin color. But yet, we come to celebrate life together. This is an education for those idiots that only have hate in their hearts.
You can actually get away with that. The heart being slightly over from the organ doesn't ruin it for me. I thought it was gonna, because of the way my brain had gotten so used to the kind of way it stops with that flow. That could be it. And now what we've got to do, right? So let's put a pin in that being it, right? The setup's a bit too long now because we're going into a breakdown with no drums. I wonder if we need to do something a little bit again, like following our own rules that we've, you know, our own records have their own rules. The rule on this record, the first time we did a breakdown, is that these drums stayed in here. So let's try that, right? Why not? Definitely fucked up something there, didn't it, with the automations? Oh yeah, it's because the what's going down vocal's not there. Let's just, I'll tell you what, you can just be, tell you what, we'll let you just ride it out, mate. You just do your thing. I think that's, sorry, I'm going into details. I can't help it. I think this edit is too much. I think I'm slowing the record down too much. I don't mind the snare, but I just feel like the kick being there as well is just, it's just too, hey, look at me, I'm doing something. I just don't think it's cool enough. I think just staying straighter might actually be cooler. Anyway. What on earth have I done? I copied over like a really weird bit.
If only the world could see.
Little reverse cymbal and something here, just to help accent that a little bit. There's another part of me, right, that wants to go even less vocal and allow the organ to have its sort of like space and bring him in when he starts talking about like we're all the same.
If only the world could, all over the world we are.
Like, what about all over the world we are? Like, just start it way later. Let the organ sort of like, just sort of let it all kind of, you know. Because interestingly, even hearing that like that, that's actually quite cool. But you can hear there's like, this has a click and a pop in it. I think we need like a reverse cymbal perhaps with a little bit of delay on it or something. Have I got a version? Are you turned on what?
From all over the world we are.
Nah. There's never quite the answer, is there?
And yet, we are different faiths. We're from different religion, different skin color. We are different faiths. We're from different religion, different skin color. But yet, we come to celebrate life together. This is an education for those idiots that only have hate in their hearts.
You could do that. You could go even less vocal and bring it in at probably what is like the coolest bit of what he says. But then you got, you know, you're then in this territory of like, am I gutting the record too much? Am I carving too much out? Am I losing the kind of, am I taking too much of that away? Do you know what I'm saying? It's an option though. It's an easy option to A/B against as well, which will be something with fresh ears tomorrow when I come in the morning. I'll go, this is, I don't know about you guys, but this is the sort of thing I find. If I just export this and list it out of phone speakers, I know like straight away. In fact, you know what I might do? I might switch to my small speakers just to change the way I'm hearing everything.
We are different faiths.
Oh, that's actually quite cool, isn't it? That might be, I might be warming to that. I just need to, like this vocal just blend over a bit. Just that sort of thematic, cinematic delay. I know it's like not exactly the most advanced technique in the world there, but just the way that vocal kind of goes over like that just is enough, isn't it? You know, to set up this like, oh, like crowd. Is it? Oh, it's a brave move to go right down to nothing like that, but I kind of like it.
Different faiths, we're from different religion, different skin color. But yet, we come to celebrate life together. This is an education for those idiots that only have hate in their hearts.
I can move that back now, can't I, to where it was? Which was what, just a bit? Like that. You're not feeling the organ that? I quite like it, but I am very well known. Usually some of the music that never got signed. Like I've got like, my taste is so off compared to most people's taste. The music I like is never the stuff that everyone else likes. It's really funny. Like I really am always drawn to really like quirky stuff. Like I always like things that are just like, it's like Marmite. I like really drawn to like Marmite-y kind of ideas. I get you. And I feel like the more I push the vocal away, the less the organ makes sense. Like the organ made more sense when you had the whole speech and then the organ kind of came up underneath it because it was less of a obvious thing. But you couldn't go no organ, like nothing, because it would just be. Even if we went back to having
The spreading of love. If only the world could see the way we are. Look how I see it today. This band and you. From all over the world we are. Look how I see it today.
Also just inadvertently solved the transition issue. How funny is that?
Look how I see it today. This band and you. From all over the world we are. And yet we are different faiths. We are from different religion, different skin color. But yet we come to celebrate life together. This is an education for those idiots that only have hate in their hearts. Shine on, people, shine on.
Automation F up here now. There we go. Do you like, genuine question to everyone on the chat. No, I feel I actually get what you're saying. Smokier. Well, you reckon like a little filter on it maybe, rather than voluming it up. I quite like the rudeness of it. Like I don't want it to be too clever. I actually want it to feel really like everyone on a dance will kind of look at each other a bit like, are we sure? Like, anyone else feeling like they're spinning out a little bit with this song? I'm a real sucker for like doing stuff in records that are like really Marmite. I think you just got to lean into it. That's just my brain. You know what I mean?
Look how I see it today. This band and you. From all over the world we are. And yet we are different faiths. We are from different religion, different skin color. But yet we come to celebrate life together. This is an education for those idiots that only have hate in their hearts.
That actually does feel a bit smoother like that, doesn't it? Like just having that filtered back a little bit. It's not as abrupt as it comes in. It gives you that like finale, like as the end of his speech feeling to go into the ride, but it's not quite as like, I suppose it's quite a big message to have at the same time as the speech, isn't it? That's not actually a part of the hook. Like it's not a part of the record. Sure, I've peppered organs in, but it's like unavoidably a gospel organ. Do you know what I mean? Which goes with his speech, which is where the idea came from. I was just like, what could back this speech? And I was like, oh yeah, like a gospel. And that's why I was on Splice. That's from Splice. That's oh, you've probably seen it right on the lesson. It's from Splice. And I just put in gospel and then just went through loads of like song starter kits for gospel stuff and just came across that after honestly amount of time trying to find stuff. But yeah, I think maybe filtering it up. I'd say what, should we give ourselves a little bit of context now? Run that back and listen to from like here through, in, up and across here. The problem that I want to talk about in the second half of the record, we'll definitely talk about, and I think I know what the solution is. It's definitely way easier than this. I just feel the second half of the record feels a bit clunky. And I just think it's this bit. Like when I go back to this bit, it's great. I like the drop now. I was fussing about that a lot when we were originally making this record. And I like this edit. It needs a bit of work. But it's just going to this bit where it's this little like, it sort of tries to go like, oh, let's go everything for a bit and then flip back to the vocal. That should work. Like it's weird that doesn't work. But I don't know about it. And it's always bugged me. That's all, and that's it. I've already spoken about it. But something about that's not working for me. And every single part of this record, all the bits of this record that like make me go like, ooh, are these like moments of like my favorite bit of this entire record is this bit here. Into this vocal. Did this limiter really hard? Because I swear that vocal turned up then. where that vocal, that loopy vocal into the snare edit, into the what's going down vocal with that pumping sort of bassline flow, for me is the bit that might make a label go like, oh, that's a bit different, but that's kind of cool. That's the bit that gets me. And it's about facilitating that moment all the time. It's always about facilitating that feeling. And like here, you get it again, but with a little breakdown. Again, favorite bit of the record. It's just that switch between those two, like la 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 la, la into that what's going down, rigid groove, what's going down, rigid groove. That switch is for me why I would play the record. So, and I don't think I'm facilitating that in this what should be like a really important part. And it could be, honestly, it might be as simple as like we actually move this to here, and this gets all a bit more loopy. Like what I'm trying to do here, I do like in this bit. And then it switches back to the vocal for 16, and then we got that out, and then that's the outro. I think I probably just figured it out, to be fair, haven't I? Anyway, let's listen to, yeah, from about here, and let's just listen to this breakdown through. Anything that jumps out to you guys, any kind of feelings you got about it, good, bad, maybe there's try that, or maybe it should be a symbol there, maybe some more effects, anything that jumps out to you at all, honestly. It is really helpful for me to read it, see it, and think about it, because everyone else's perspective, no matter whether you're one day into music production or you're 25 years in like I am, a perspective on music does not need to have experience. Sometimes the most inexperienced ear gives the best advice, honestly. Put that on a t-shirt. That's a good one. Right, let's have a listen.
Look how I see it today, this band and you, from all over the world we are, and yet we are different faiths, we are from different religion, different skin color, but yet we come to celebrate life together. This is an education for those idiots that only have hate in their hearts. Shine on, people, shine on.
To be fair, this drop is a bit Alianza, isn't it? That's a bit Jewel Kiddie. Just that stab and the kick and the ride. There's a bit of techno-y flavour in that, which I think could work. Figuring this bit out. If I go back, let me go back to just solve that little bit. Put you back there. The organ for tonight, I'm actually going to take that filter off. I'm going to go back to where it was and really sit it just being like brutally in there for my ear tomorrow, because I can't decide how it's. I think Nat has a point about this organ. And that point is, he is either completely right or completely wrong about that point. And I don't think it's to do with being right and wrong in like a right and wrong typical sense. It is a bit basement jacksy, mate, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's to do with taste. And it's to do with what a record label's taste would be. which is interesting, isn't it? To bring it back round into the realm of what we're trying to achieve. Like, we're going to be handing this into Jewel Kid Alianza on Friday. Is this the sort of shit they would do on his label? There are labels like Brobot and that do mad stuff like this, like things that are a bit out of key, almost on purpose and stuff. Like, way less. Like, this is way smoother than some of the stuff I love that's on like Brobot and Rekids. I definitely got weirder stuff than this in them. Like, stuff that definitely sometimes when I first hear it, I'm like, ooh, that vocal's a bit off with this, isn't it? But then it just, you're like, well, yeah, it seems to be really cool. Everyone seems to love it though. So I think this organ is one of those. It is definitely Marmite. I recognise that. That's very me. I'm very used to that. I do it all the time in my music. I'm always putting stuff in that some people love and some people hate. I think what we can't do is try and finesse that organ into sounding more like the advice that Nat was given on chat's great, like using Alter Boy on Center Return. You can create this sort of like smoky sort of feeling with it and blend it in. I think it's the wrong approach. I think it's either in or it's out. I think it's either in or it's out. I think that's the point of this organ. It's either like, fucking, here's a ridiculous organ with a speech, like, because it's cool, or it's like, yeah, this is cool, mate, but you know, organ, you mind like just getting rid of that? Or maybe that's not quite working for us. Look, the label, if they really like the record and it was that Marmite, they would probably say that to you. They would not sign it because of one sound. They might say, oh, we love this, dude, but that fucking organ on that breakdown's a bit much, isn't it? Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Ped. The only reason I haven't done anything like that is because I really like, again, I think this is me, you can tell like, by the way that I'm talking about this organ, I really like the jarringness, jankiness of it. Like, it feels like I can see the woman playing the organ in my mind's eye, and it's just a very like just sort of like aggressively, like, because the way he's talking is aggressive and the way he ends his speech is aggressive, and the way the organ goes like speaks to that. Like, it's a sort of like drop mic walk off stage feeling.
For those idiots that only have hate in their hearts.
And that just goes into the ride starting. That I really like. That kind of janky, like just cut paste, no effects, just like ish. I think's cool personally. And I can be wrong. Do you know what I mean? That's what the good thing about, the interesting thing about what someone thinks is cool. But I think this organ, I think that's what I'm beginning to realise, is this organ either is like, fuck you lot, I'm leaving it in, or everyone else is right and I eventually change it. But I don't think what we can do, my point being is what I don't think we can do is try and over finesse it. I think it's got to either be like, oh, you know, that record with that mental organ with the speech, or not. You know what I'm saying? I think that's it for me. I think that's what it's got to do. Okay, cool. But I think that's it. That's a relatively easy thing, to be honest. Look, maybe, dude, at the end of the day, maybe it's not. Maybe you just like get rid of this one and just like let this organ continue and find a high string. What's this? Is this a high string? Oh, some of the other ones I found. Look.
Look at us here today, this band and you. From all over the world we are.
Hallelujah.
And yet we are different faiths. We are from different religions, different skin color. But yet we come to celebrate life together. This is an education for those idiots that only have hate in their hearts.
I had a load of these, like really uplifting, like gospel things with speech that were like quite funny. I had loads of them. Oh, absolutely loads. Yeah, that's true now. I mean, you've got like very specific tastes, like in your music that you're working on. Like you were talking today, interesting enough, on our Discord about wanting to get the organ redone. I was like, oh, that's not where my brain went. I was like, I think the organ's wicked. Don't think you need to like redo it. But like that is one of those things, mate, where you're like hyper sensitive to that kind of stuff, where I'm like weirdly the other way around. I'm way more like, it's just cool, forget about it. Like with a lot more than you would think I was, actually, considering how like over the top about everything I am. Weirdly, with my own music, I'm way more like, yeah, that's cool. Move on. Next one, next song. Okay, so let's just spend the last like 15 minutes here, or so, or whatever, just figuring out the second half a little bit, yeah? Should we just like, let's get feeling, right, on chat, like, here's the problem. What do you guys think? The problem is, right, so we do this speaky bit, we go into a build, and we drop focusing stab, which we don't do anywhere else in the record. I originally did that when I first made the stab, and I loved it. So I was like, oh, I'll do that later. So the main first drop, what's happening, what the rub is, what the feel is the stab is filtered, which sounds really good. The like, hey, vocal is filtered, which sounds really good, also from the same sample. And there's a load of crowd noise, also jacked on the side chain, and filtered. And it gives this sort of, I always call it the Daft Punk, like, and it's about that stab coming up and the whoa coming up with the crowd, which then goes into all of that disappearing and the crowd not being filtered, but there being all the other stuff's gone and it goes to the vocal. That's the kind of like, oh, that's the thing that works. Now the thing is on the second drop, I think, especially if this is going to Alianza, now it's going to Alianza, I think this even more, that we can't, I think we've got to drop quite techie, like this. There's a couple of nods to it. There's the filtered vocal still, filtered crowd still there. I think that works, I think that's great. But the problem is it changes the way the flow works, because this works because it builds to vocal and then into, which is basically like out. My only thing is I feel like if you drop to stab, it feels too long to then switch to vocal. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just overthinking that. That's my feeling with it. And I'm stuck in this like parallel, this like problem solve of, I've got 8 bar sections to figure out. And that's how, if you look, it's always a bit like that. You get like 8 bars and then the filters all come up. And then there's 8 bars and there's an edit. Then you flip to vocal. Then there's 8 bars. Then stab comes in. Then there's 8 bars and you go into breakdown. Then there's 8 bars and you go into vocal. Then there's 8 bars and you go into build. Then there's build with 8 bars. You see what I'm saying? So when you get to here, to not follow that rhythmic changing feeling in an arrangement feels a bit off. And maybe I'm really wrong. And maybe that's actually what would make that better, to just straight up like move the vocal over and let this bubble along, like do a longer version of this, like let that all really build up, like bubble up, bubble up, bubble up, bubble up, and then switch to vocal but maybe leave the stab in. What do you guys think? Do you get what I'm saying? Do you guys know what my problem is, what I'm getting at? Yeah, thank you, Alex. I like the drop. It's post-drop that bugs me. Let's listen to it. I'll tell you what, let's listen to it. Yeah, maybe we go, don't bring the claps in. Bad, isn't it? There's just options, isn't it? That's the thing with this. There's so many maybes, that's it. It's just maybe. Maybe we steal the automations from that original section. So it's coming up earlier. And it all stays in rather than stopping. Even vocal keeps going. Ugh. That actually kind of worked, you know. I think I'm onto something with that. There's definitely something going on with that limiter. Maybe this edit's too big. I don't like the delay on the vocal there either. That's got to go. That's fine. It's an easy fix. Maybe the vocal doesn't start until here. I'll tell you what, let's go with a formula that worked before and just sort of like feel it out. So then that's gone. We'll just remove them for a second. Let's just do what we did the first time around and see how it feels. Because I just feel like it's, for the main drop, to kind of drop in, build, and then it will sort of go for the vocal again. It slows the dance floor down too much. But then I suppose it's a quirky record, so... Actually, with the ride staying in, carries it. I think the edit needs to be smaller. I think I think I probably need to really come in and just fucking chill out on some of these edits in general. I do, but because it's on that's a shorter one. Again, see, look, I'm breaking the rules. It fucks us, doesn't it? You've got a good point. It has to. This one goes down because it's that long. Because that's always been the rule. You get this, then go down. See the length of them. So it's this, then you go down the bit. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm completely lost now. Where am I? Where the fuck? Right, this is the edit here, isn't it? I think this all needs to be more chill. You know what? I'm going to go hard the other way and not even high pass and not do a silly kick roll or anything. Just keep everything going. Let's just keep everything going a second. Let's just go hard the other way and see how it feels. We may be... Oh, what was the smaller? Oh, that's that one there, isn't it? That's that same one, okay. So this one has got to stop, for sure. That's fine. Do that with a filter. Get off Ableton. Do that for a sec. And you get that twice with the pitching down into that drop, delete the last 16 bars. By George, I think we've done it. Thanks for staying on with us tonight, by the way, guys. It's actually been quite a long ride in the end. 2 hours of me chatting shit with music. It's a lot of chatting shit. And I'm just going to pinch the actual same, this one. Let's do it like that. So it's just going to take the whole lot Is that even in the right place? Yeah. Oh, of course, it's like jankingly across. Why not? What is it one thing off? Oh God. That shouldn't be bothering my brain that much, but it is. Oh, I know why, because it's half stepped. So I've got to zoom in more and do it like that. That's why it's not working. Drag it over like this. Oh no. Damn you. Right, I'm gonna have to put it here, zoom in, drag it over. There. Yeah, I think a little tighten up on where that vocal is. I think that having that last one there is a bit much. Get the delay right, get that feeling right. I think that's the way to do the record, isn't it? And then you can actually gut out, like, yeah, get all that feeling much better. Get that gone. Get that gone. So it feels like this bit. In fact, I hate the way it's like ended up being off grid. Is anyone else like a bit like that? Like I fucking hate it when it's like just not in place. For some reason, lots of music that I make never is in the right place. Pull this over. And that solves the length of the record, which is something a couple of you said to me on Discord that it felt a bit long. Need a snap stop. Yeah, that's a good way. And then you outro the record. I think that's probably solved it, lads. I think that's probably solved a lot of what was bugging me, which is cool. Yeah. I think that makes more sense, doesn't it? I think that framework for the second half of the record, looking at the first, you can visually see it. I think that plays into the rules a little bit better. It's just a different, it's like, I'll look about maybe the claps coming back in here. Maybe 16 bars with no clap is a bit too long for the start of the record. I mean, it's a 2-second change. It'll be obvious with fresh ears tomorrow morning. But yeah, having the ride in there, that sort of jazzy ride at the same time as the vocal is like a more hyped version of what we did on the first half. So it's like the same rule, but just with an extra bit of spice thrown in. And that's typically like a better way to arrange music, isn't it? That's a better way to kind of do stuff. And even though I do like to go around the houses with my own music and really try about 1,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 trillion different ways of doing everything, I do find that following my own rules is typically what gets me the best results. And we'll do a whole another live stream one day about rules, because I have this whole thing about rules in music that everyone's songs have rules in them, but they're not rules in that horrible way of like, oh yeah, but I just want to be creative. I don't want rules, man. It's more like you aren't coming up with the rules. Like if your rule is to go like 4/4, then 5/6, and go from E sharp to E flat to A minor, and don't worry about everything being out of key, that's your rule. It's a rule. Just follow that rule. It's a fucked up rule, but like follow it. And I think that's a really important thing to understand with our own music, is sometimes when we're lost in our own records, because we've spent so many hours in there, it's so hard to not get lost inside of a record, right? Sometimes just looking at what you've done so far and realizing, oh, the rule so far has been this, that. let's just do that again and see how it sounds. Oh, let's make a slight change to it. Oh, look, I've finished a record, which is, and I genuinely didn't plan this. I haven't done that on purpose. That is quite literally how I've solved this, isn't it? Establishing what the rules were, establishing what worked before, and just doing that again. And then just going, okay, let's adapt it a little bit, but not do it in a completely different way as before. I think that's kind of solved that really nicely. I'm happy with that. So what I'll do tomorrow is I'm going to do a mix of this. I've also got Andy from AMPM, who's mastering my Touring release, gave me some notes today. He hit me back with he's great. He's so good. He will literally, and because I've worked with him for quite a few years, he will come back to me and be like, oh, dude, he's literally come back and be like, oh, like try pitching the kick drum down one semitone. Like maybe the perk the vocal could like maybe compress the vocal like 2 more dB and stuff like. He's a legend. He's an absolute legend for it. So I'm going to do that for him tomorrow morning. It's all done on analog as well. So it's a bit like, okay, sure, yeah, don't worry about that, mate. I'll do that straight away. I've now got to recall all of the hardware. That'll be fine. It won't take all day, I'm sure. And then I'm going to do a mix down of this one, and then I'll upload it to the Discord. I'll upload it to the open Discord as well as the private one, so everyone can hear it before it goes to Alianza on Friday. And then on Friday, I'm going to be on my stories all day throughout London. I'm even going to try, I shouldn't say this because I don't know how to do it or if I'm going to be able to do it, or even if I'm really allowed to do it at the touring event, but I might try and go live on my phone actually at the event. Maybe not while I'm on stage. They might not want me to do that, but maybe just while I'm perusing around and chatting to people and meeting Jewel Kid and people like that. It'd be quite cool to do it all live, wouldn't it? We'll see. If not, I will take video of it and turn it into a video, and it'll be on my stories and that kind of stuff. Okay, so awesome stuff. Well, thank you so much for everyone that's come in tonight to help me out. You've stayed here with 2 hours with me while I just waffle on about creativity and music, and we solved the problems though. I am actually quite proud of what we've managed to do there. That vocal problem in that breakdown is no laughing matter. That like the solving that vocal problem inside of a live stream, I think, is like we should all give ourselves a pat on the back, because that kind of problem can go wrong, can't it? That could have gone really wrong. You can really ruin a record by getting that kind of problem solving wrong. And I think we've done all right there. I'm really happy with how that's turned out. I think it's actually makes that middle section of the record feel a lot cooler than where it was when we first started tonight. So I appreciate everyone's help on that. It was great going backwards and forwards. It's cool. It's like a live version of my Discord, which might be quite a cool way of thinking about that. Do these a lot more often if we can. All right, nice one. I will end it there, everyone. I'll look forward to catching all of you on Discord over the next couple of days. And yeah, keep an eye on my socials. And like I said, I'll be on my socials. But if you can't make it to London, keep an eye on my Instagram. I'll be on my stories all day there and stuff, so you can kind of keep up with the madness as it happens, and knowing me missing trains and getting lost in London and getting too drunk and losing my car keys and all the other stuff that I normally do when I do these kind of things, right? Awesome stuff, right? Awesome. Right, I love you all. Appreciate you all being here. I look forward to seeing you all again very, very soon. Keep an eye on my socials over the next couple of days.